Hey everybody, Nikolai here from RC Groups and FlyingGiants.com, and as you can see by that logo on the box, this is the AJ Aircraft ARS 300, which was just released this spring at the Toledo Week Signal Show. Very excited to have this on my workbench. It takes up my entire workbench. The boxes are huge, but we're very excited to get to show this to you guys. So before we get to the unboxing portion, I just wanted to show you a quick couple pictures to show you the links that they're going to ensure that you're getting an intact airframe. And they've had to go to some pretty impressive lengths, and I'm really happy to see you know, the aircraft manufacturers are caring about what comes to us and how it arrives at our front door. So this first picture here is showing the wing box and the inner wing box, the outer shipping box and then the inner shipping box, and it's actually triple boxed. There's another box inside of this one that contains the actual wings inside of its wing bags. But this this inner shipping box, you can see, is contained or is wrapped with 4 wood frames that will hold its structure in case anything tries to compress it. And it also gives a little bit of an airspace there in between the outer shipping layer and the inner. In case anything wants to try and puncture it, it'll give you that extra bit of protection to make sure it doesn't actually hit your wings. So the next picture here is the main fuselage box, and this is going to show some pieces of masonite that they've added in strategic locations. There's a couple big pieces. There's a big piece on the top and the bottom. I believe this is over the canopy area, and then they have this little piece down on the end, as well as a piece on the ends, the left and right end of the box, that is the whole width and height of the box. That'll help again keep any structure, or keep the structure of the box in case they put something heavy on top of it and it tries to compress it, and which would you know, could harm their airframe very easily. So I just wanted to show you the impressive lengths that they're going to make sure that you get an intact airframe in the box when it comes to your front door. So give me a second here and I'll pull this stuff out of the box and give you a closer look. Okay, so I've pulled everything out of the box, and I just wanted to show you real quick how it comes in the box with the foam dividers, fully unwrapping the airframe, and then there's the box up front that has the cowl inside, and all of that is packed exactly like you see it in the box. The rudder and the stabilizer are in their bags alongside. And then the landing gear is not velcroed, but zip tied to the box side. So here's a shot of you know, everything as comes in the box, and I'll take another minute and take everything out of the wrapping and show you guys individual pieces. Alright, so as you guys can see, we've pulled everything out of the box, and everything is, you know, all the protective foam and wrapping is all removed. And that covering is just gleaming in the lights. It's looking really nice. I really like the new orange and blue, silver, white scheme. It's a nice color that you don't see too much of, and I think it'll show up really nice in the air. So we'll get started here by, I'll go little to big. So all this little hardware stuff was all in one of the boxes, and just in a box above the cowl. So we've got a nice couple of lengths of good quality Velcro here to hold batteries or fuel tanks down with, and then all of their part bags are all pre-labeled. See if that'll focus on there. So each of their bags has a label as to what they're with. This one is obviously for the tail wheel, but then we have other ones that are for specifically all the components for your rudder or aileron. So we've got one for the rudder here, one for the landing gear, which includes some nice high quality axles here, and then this bag is for the ailerons for the wings. And this is your screws and washers for the cowl. And then we have extra hardware. So this is really nice that they did this. This is a whole bag of extra hardware. So you've got an extra wing bolt and extra clevises, ball links. There's like 1 or 2 each extra of everything that you will be using in this plane. So this is all replacements that you can use. Alright, and then we have another couple of bags here. This one says it's for hardware power, for hardware for power options. And what I believe this is motors or screws and bolts for your servo mounting for your throttle servo. It's got a couple small little ball links in there that'll be for your throttle rod, and it also has a nice little wrench in there that you'll use for your ball links to turn them. And the last little bag here of hardware is for the elevator. It has all the control rods in there, or all the horns in there. These are high quality G10 horns, by the way, so they're really nice. They're going to hold up to a lot of stress. And then another little bag is some rubber mounts for your cans if you choose to go gas and you mount a can. And then we have a bunch of nice long zip ties here, a couple servo blocks so you can mount your throttle servo anywhere you like, and then a good quality push rod here for your throttle. Alright, and then moving on, we've got some wood components here. We've got a servo mounting plate. We also have a block off plate for your canister section up here. This is a full length pipe tunnel here, and it does go back like this far, so you have plenty of room for just about any pipe that you're gonna put in there. And speaking of pipes, we have 2 different mounts here, and it's not labeled which one that they're for, but we do have 2 different ones that should fit most of the pipes that you're gonna be mounting to this plane. And then finally, for the engines, we have templates, drill templates for the DA35, DA50, and a 3W50. So there's some nice options there that'll give you your perfect spots to drill your engine mounting holes, as well as sometimes they will include spots that might work for your fuel tubing and for your throttle cable. So those are all included. And then moving on to some of the nicer parts here, we've got some really nice 3.5-inch wheels with aluminum hubs, and 2 very nicely done wheel cuffs. And then above or below the wheel cuffs will be the wheel pants. And I'll point out about these wheel pants, they're really nice, and they're thick, they're not flimsy at all. The blind nuts are pre-installed. There's some nice hardwood up here, plywood, to give that some strength, and they just feel really solid. All the holes are pre-drilled, and then the landing gear is going to fit right into this this slot right here, so there's no guessing, no alignment that has to be done. It's all going to be just throw a bolt in there and you're good to go. And then finally, this is a little block that they make to seal off the landing gear off on the bottom of the fuselage. And beyond that, we have the landing gear themselves. Nice heavy duty carbon fiber, is quite thick and quite rigid. It's going to hold up to a lot of abuse. Alright, so moving on to the bigger parts here, we have gigantic rudder. This is just to give you an idea. My hand is about 8 or 8.5 inches, maybe 9 inches. So it's considerable size rudder. The covering on it looks very nicely done. I don't see any bubbles at all. I'll just run over it with my iron to make sure everything's sealed down. But again, the guys at AJ Aircraft have done a really nice job on their covering. This is a removable pin hinge, so if you got a laser that has these, I think they were taped on the side of the box, and they've chosen to put it right here in the rudder for you, just so it doesn't get lost on the box. That's really nice. Alright, so the stabs and the wings come in these foil foam packages, which you can use to help keep things nice during transport. Those are a nice thing to have. And again, we're looking at some really nice covering job on this. I really like the colors. They're going to stand out really nicely. All the hinges here are pre-glued. So it's one more thing that they do for you that you don't have to do. You can see the slot here for the elevator servo, and then you'll see the mounting blocks inside there for the servo itself. Carbon fiber tube, and couldn't be happier with how this looks. The slots here for the control horns are already cut, so you don't even have to guess where those are. I mean, AJ Aircraft has always said that they do more of the work for you so you can get in there faster, and this is definitely proven true with all the stuff I've seen from them. So that's awesome. We'll move over to the cowl. And paint job on this looks spectacular. I've got a great gloss shining off from my lights and from the windows. No bubbles, no issues. It's nice, thick quality. And you've got your mounting ring in here. And you'll notice that they put the mounting bolts already in there for you so that they don't get lost or confused with other hardware. And then they use a single wood screw coming in from the bottom. So that cowl looks really nice. Really happy with it. And before we move on to the fuselage, I'll take one of these wings out and show you what we have here. And let's see if we can get a whole picture there. There we go. And again, the covering is done very nicely. No issues at all. And you notice that they have a new scheme on the bottom of the wing. They're trying out just some different options so they don't all look the same. This is a really nice high contrast scheme incorporating their star and their logo. And then you can see the hole here for the aileron servo. And again, the slots are already cut for the control horns. And again, it is pre-glued on the hinge, and on the ailerons they are pre-sealed. So you don't even have to worry about sealing those. All you have to do is seal the elevators if you choose to. The thing is really nicely built, and from what we can see inside, nice structure. I can see glue on all of the joints. Of course, I'll run CA over whatever I can reach, just for my own peace of mind, I guess you would say. But everything is really nicely built, and there's some nice wing screws, thumb screws for your wing bolts right here. All right, so that's all the little stuff. Let's get on to the big boy. Like I said, this is a full-length pipe tunnel, so it runs all the way back here. Gives you plenty of room for anything that you need to put in there. And well, let's just go from nose to stern here. So you'll see very nice plywood firewalls. They are pre-bolted for extra strength. And on the inside, I won't be able to get the camera in there, but there is an aluminum L bracket on each of these front corners on the inside, which these are bolted through. So it's not just wood in there. There is some metal hardware for extra reinforcement. And you can see down the pipe tunnel here, you can see the aluminum brackets here that are for your landing gear. And you can see the end of the pull wires that are already pulled in for you. So you pop this canopy off, and it did come with two thumb screws for the canopy, which I took off just so I could remove this nice and easy for you. And here's the look inside. Got a carbon fiber tube here. You have plenty of room up here for your fuel tank or battery, whichever power method you choose. And there's a nice clear tube here for running your elevator and rudder servo wires, or not rudder, because your rudder's going to be up here, but for your aileron wires, or elevator wires. And like I said, that pipe tunnel does go all the way back. You can see it back there. And if you can see it, let's see if I can zoom in here. There is carbon fiber now running back on those stringers all the way back, and it goes up to here. So from here all the way back into the tail, there is carbon fiber tubes that are running along those stringers, and that'll give you a lot of nice reinforcement that I know they didn't do on the lasers. They might do it on future versions now that they've done it on this, but that is a new addition to their airframes, and I'm really glad to see that. That'll give a lot of nice extra durability for if you happen to flip it over on landing and do a head over tail flop. That'll give a lot of extra durability there. Looking really, really nice. I'm really pleased with what I'm seeing here, and I hope you guys are too. Again, the covering seam is really, really well done. All the covering on it is perfect. All the holes, all the wing bolt holes, servo holes, all that is pre-cut for you. You don't have to do any hunting, any cutting, and that's even true here down for the elevator area. And here's the end for the pull wires, so you even have to cut that out. And then on here is 3 bolts. That's where your tail wheel is going to go. Those are in there waiting for you, so they don't get lost or confused with other hardware. And then here you can see the hinges for the rudder pin. And that's about all for the fuselage. It's looking really good. I'm really impressed with it. Can't wait to put it together. Don't know what we're going to power it with just yet. We just got it in the mail, so we haven't decided what engine we're going to use just yet. Here's a quick look at the canopy. It is lightly tinted. I like to see that instead of just clear. It's got a nice wood frame there. Looks really good. So like I said, I don't know what we're gonna power it with yet. Probably a DLE 55 or a DA 50, whatever I can get my hands on. So this is give you a rundown on it. This is the ARS 300, like I mentioned. It is retailing for $679 right now, and it is an 83-inch wingspan plane. It is 87 inches long from tip of rudder to nose. You're looking at about 1,150 square inches of wing area and an all-up weight of 17 to 18 pounds, which should be very nice power to weight ratio. You're looking, they're calling for a 50 to 60 cc engine, but I've talked to Andrew, and it's going to be perfectly happy on a 50 cc. But they just wanted to put the 60 on there so that that the cowl will fit it and all that. But anything you have on the table within that range will fly this plane perfectly awesome. If you don't want to do gas, they do, of course, have electric options. They're calling for about a 5,500 plus watt motor with about 135 amp ESC, and you'll be running in the 12 cell 5,000 milliamp battery range. So beyond the power options, all you'll need is 5 high torque metal gear servos, and probably would recommend either the MK77-7s or the Savix 1270s. High-Tech has some really good ones, and of course Futaba. So there's a lot of options out there for servos within this range. You don't need anything monster high torque, but you're going to want something that'll definitely handle it, because these are big control surfaces. And beyond the 5 servos, if you choose gas, of course you'll need a basic servo for your throttle. And then you need a 4-inch spinner and some servo wire extensions, and then you're up in the air and you're going. So yeah, other than the power system and the servos, spinner and a couple of servo extensions, they give you all the hardware that you need for this thing to get it up in the air. And like I said, a lot of the work is done for you, and that's part of their motto, is to do more of the work so you don't have to. And I just love that about this company. They do nice stuff. So once we get the power system figured out, we'll be sure to do a nice flight review for you. In the meantime, you can check out their webpage at aj-aircraft.com or check out their YouTube channel. And be sure to watch for that full review on rcgroups.com. And in the meantime, keep your wings level, and thanks for tuning in.